Have you ever shared something deeply personal, an idea, a vision, a dream, only to watch it wither as if the very act of speaking it out loud drained it of its power? Have you ever felt an invisible resistance, an unseen force that seems to rise the moment you reveal what God has placed in your heart? What if I told you that this is not a coincidence, but a spiritual law at work? One that has been known by the wise, the anointed, and those who move in divine alignment. There is a reason why the greatest breakthroughs are often birthed in silence. The visions God has given you are like delicate seeds, fragile yet full of promise. A wise farmer does not uproot his seed every day to check its progress. Instead, he trusts the unseen process, knowing that at the appointed time, the roots will deepen, and the plant will break through the surface, strong and unshaken. But what happens when a seed is exposed too soon? It becomes vulnerable to harsh elements, to doubt, to interference from forces that do not have its best interests at heart. The Bible warns us of this very danger. Whoever guards his mouth preserves his life. He who opens wide his lips comes to ruin. Proverbs 13:3. Your words have power, and what you speak too soon can be disrupted before it has a chance to take root. Have you ever wondered why certain dreams never materialized? Could it be that they were exposed before they were fortified? This is not just about personal dreams. It is about divine destiny. Nehemiah, a man called by God to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, understood this principle. When God placed the vision in his heart, he did not rush to announce it to the world. He moved in silence, letting his actions be guided by divine wisdom rather than the opinions of men. And because of this, his mission succeeded against all odds. By their fruits you will recognize them. Matthew 7:16. A tree does not declare its growth. It simply flourishes, bearing fruit in its due season. And now you stand at a crossroads of wisdom and revelation. This is a prophetic warning. In this season, do not reveal what has yet to be fulfilled. What God has spoken into your spirit is sacred, and not everyone is meant to hear it. Not everyone around you is equipped to support your calling. Some may question it, others may attempt to sabotage it, and some, without even realizing it, may speak words that plant seeds of doubt in your mind. If you understand this truth, if you feel this confirmation in your spirit, I invite you to boldly declare your readiness. Type 777 in the comments as a sign that you are committed to walking in wisdom, to protecting what is sacred, and to allowing God's plan to unfold in divine timing. And to those of you who have been faithfully supporting this mission through super thanks, your kindness does not go unnoticed. Your generosity is deeply felt, and I pray that God returns your blessing 100-fold. But now, I must ask you this: what if your silence holds more power than your words? What if your greatest breakthroughs depend not on what you share, but on what you guard? Could it be that in the very act of restraint, you're aligning with a divine principle that will set your destiny into motion? Stay with me, because what I am about to reveal next will change the way you navigate your calling forever. Now, let's begin. God's chosen ones, a prophetic warning. Do not speak of what is coming. There exists a sacred wisdom, one that stretches beyond time and speaks directly to the soul, the power of silence. For those walking the path of spiritual ascension, for those carrying a vision divinely placed upon their hearts, silence is not merely a choice, it is a necessity. Every great calling begins in stillness. Every divine mission is first nurtured in secrecy. It is within the quiet places, away from the noise of the world, where faith is fortified, purpose is refined, and destiny is carefully prepared before it is revealed. Not everyone around you is ready to see your vision. Not every heart is capable of celebrating your purpose. Some, whether knowingly or unknowingly, may even stand as obstacles on your journey. When you share your dreams too soon, you expose them to forces that may not be aligned with their fulfillment. Doubt, criticism, skepticism, and even jealousy can act as unseen weights, pulling your aspirations off course before they have had the chance to take root. Have you ever felt excitement over something God placed in your heart, only to have that enthusiasm dim after encountering someone else's doubts? Could it be that some battles you have faced were never meant to happen, but were invited in by speaking too soon? This truth is deeply embedded in Scripture. Proverbs 17:27-28 teaches, "The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint, and whoever has understanding is even-tempered. Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues." Silence is not a sign of weakness, it is evidence of wisdom. It is an act of spiritual discernment, a protective shield around the sacred dreams entrusted to you by God. Even Jesus himself exemplified this when he often spoke in parables, revealing truths only to those who were spiritually prepared to receive them. He did not cast his pearls before swine, Matthew 7:6, because he knew that divine revelation must be guarded, not carelessly scattered. Many who have changed the world understood the necessity of silence in their journey. Martin Luther King Jr., before delivering his most powerful speeches, spent hours in prayer, refining his message in stillness. Nelson Mandela, during his years of imprisonment, embraced solitude as a time of preparation rather than despair. Even great inventors like Thomas Edison kept their groundbreaking ideas guarded until they were fully realized. Why? Because wisdom teaches that what is hidden has time to grow stronger before facing the world. So, as you walk in your divine calling, remember this: silence is not emptiness. It is the soil where the seeds of your destiny take root. The quiet places are where God speaks the loudest. Will you trust him enough to embrace the stillness before stepping into the fullness of your purpose? Imagine a gardener planting a rare and precious seed. If he exposes it to harsh weather too soon, the delicate roots will struggle to hold, and the fragile sprout will wither before it has a chance to thrive. But a wise gardener understands the importance of patience. He tends to the seed in secret, shielding it from storms, nourishing it in rich soil, and allowing time for strong roots to form beneath the surface. Only when it has become resilient enough does he unveil it to the world. Your dreams are no different. They require the same quiet care, the same protection from external forces, so that they may develop the strength to withstand the pressures of the world. How many dreams have failed to take root because they were spoken too soon? How many destinies were delayed because they were shared too widely, exposed to doubt and negativity before they had time to mature? The lesson is clear. Silence is not a cage. It is a sacred container, a divine cocoon where God nurtures what he has planted in you. It is not secrecy out of fear, but wisdom in understanding divine timing. Isaiah 30:15 reminds us of this truth. In quietness and in trust shall be your strength. There is power in stillness, for it allows what God has ordained to take shape without interference. The story of Joseph in the Bible serves as a powerful testament to this principle. Joseph was chosen by God, blessed with prophetic dreams that revealed his future greatness. But in his youthful eagerness, he shared these revelations with his brothers, believing they would rejoice in his calling. Instead, they were consumed by jealousy, and their envy led them to betray him, selling him into slavery. Imagine if Joseph had kept those visions in his heart instead of speaking them aloud. Would his journey have been less painful? Would he have avoided years of hardship, imprisonment, and betrayal? his destiny was still fulfilled, because what God ordains, no human can destroy. But the path was made more difficult because he revealed his dreams before the appointed time. Even today, this truth remains evident. Many great leaders and innovators have understood the necessity of guarding their visions until the right moment. Steve Jobs, before unveiling groundbreaking Apple technology, operated in secrecy, ensuring that his ideas were protected from being dismantled before they could fully manifest. J.K. Rowling, before publishing Harry Potter, wrote her manuscripts in quiet solitude, shielding them from outside criticism until they were ready to be released. Why? Because speaking too soon can invite opposition, doubt, and forces that may not align with success. A mighty oak tree does not declare its growth. It simply rises, its strength visible to all who witness it. Likewise, when the time is right, your success will need no announcement. It will be undeniable, an unshakable testament to the power of divine timing. Until then, trust in the wisdom of silence. Guard what God has planted in you. Nurture it in faith, and allow it to flourish when the appointed season arrives. Will you trust in His timing and let your dreams grow in the sacred stillness? The greatest victories are not declared with noise, but revealed through undeniable results. When you walk in silence, you remove distractions, evade external pressures, and remain firmly aligned with the divine path designed specifically for you. This is why Proverbs 27:2 reminds us, "Let another praise you and not your own mouth, a stranger and not your own lips." True success does not need to be announced. It speaks for itself. When the appointed time comes, those who doubted you, those who dismissed your vision, will witness what was always destined to unfold. There is an undeniable power in silence, a force that moves unseen, yet shapes the very foundation of destiny. Those who are called, those set apart as God's chosen ones, understand that silence is not emptiness, but a sacred space. It is within this stillness that purpose is nurtured, clarity is sharpened, and divine alignment unfolds without interference. Have you ever noticed how the most powerful transformations often happen away from the public eye? The caterpillar does not announce its metamorphosis. It retreats into the cocoon, emerging only when it has fully become what it was meant to be. When you choose silence, you are not withholding out of fear. You are creating a powerful sanctuary, one where your dreams are protected, your energy is preserved, and your spirit remains undisturbed by the noise of the world. The distractions of others' opinions, the weight of skepticism, and the pull of unnecessary validation lose their grip when you operate in stillness. This is the wisdom found in Exodus 14:14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Silence is not inaction. It is the ultimate act of trust, allowing God to work while you prepare for what He has promised. Have you ever considered what would happen if you gave your vision time to grow, away from the influence of those who may not understand it? The world does not need your explanations. It needs your testimony, and that testimony will come when your purpose has fully manifested. Until then, trust in the unseen work happening beneath the surface. Stay quiet, stay faithful, and let God reveal in His perfect timing what He has placed within you. In a world that constantly demands noise, explanation, and validation, the chosen ones walk a different path, one of quiet confidence, of unwavering faith, and of steadfast trust in divine timing. Not every vision is meant to be spoken too soon, and not every dream should be placed before those who may not understand its purpose. When you keep your plans concealed, you allow a divine unfolding where every step you take is guided, free from the weight of external opinions, doubts, or pressures that could shift your focus. This wisdom is echoed in Ecclesiastes 3:7, which tells us, "A time to be silent and a time to speak." Knowing when to stay quiet is just as important as knowing when to act. The spiritually awakened understand that silence is not passivity, it is precision, focus, and trust. Imagine the peace that comes when your path is not placed under scrutiny, when your work is allowed to grow in the shadows, untouched by premature expectations. This quiet strength enables true progress, for it keeps you aligned with the divine flow rather than the ever-changing tides of external mental influence. Consider the story of Jesus before his crucifixion. When he stood before Pilate, falsely accused and surrounded by voices demanding his fate, he did not argue, he did not plead, he did not seek validation from men. He remained silent. But Jesus made no reply, not even to a single charge, to the great amazement of the governor. Matthew 27:14. His silence was not weakness, it was power. It was a demonstration that truth does not always need to be spoken, for it is upheld by divine authority. When you are certain of your purpose, you do not need to convince others. You only need to walk in obedience and allow the results to speak for themselves. And this is where many fail. They rush to share their plans, seeking reassurance, approval, or recognition, only to find their vision weighed down by the expectations and doubts of others. Not every soul is meant to see what God has placed in your heart. Not every person will celebrate what has been entrusted to you. Doors do not open through noise, but through the quiet alignment of your steps with divine guidance. When you embrace this path, when you trust the stillness, you will find that your success does not need an announcement. It will be seen in its own time, undeniable and unshakable. A tree does not declare its growth. It simply stands tall, and those who pass by recognize its strength. Your journey is the same. There is a force that can silently weaken even the strongest vision, not through direct attack, but through subtle influence. It is the wind of doubt, carried in the words of well-meaning people, in the skepticism of those who can't see what you see, in the opinions of those who unknowingly place burdens on your path. Often, it is not malice that threatens a dream, but excess noise, energy imprints from external sources that cloud clarity and weaken resolve. When words are many, transgression is not lacking, but whoever restrains his lips is prudent. Proverbs 10:19. Words have power, and when spoken prematurely, they can invite interference, sometimes in the form of unwanted advice, sometimes in the shape of subtle doubt, and sometimes in the weight of expectations that do not belong to you. When a chosen one shares a vision too soon, they risk exposing their purpose to forces that are not aligned with its fulfillment. Imagine you are building a temple, not of stone and mortar, but of faith, purpose, and divine calling. Each brick you lay is intentional, placed with care, forming the foundation of something sacred. But what happens if you allow too many people into the construction site before it is complete? One person questions the design, another suggests changing the foundation, someone else brings in outside materials that do not belong. Slowly, the original blueprint is lost, scattered among too many voices, too many hands. This is why Matthew 7:6 warns us, "Do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to pigs." Not every plan is meant to be shared with every person. Some will not understand it. Others may try to reshape it into something it was never meant to be. And some, even without intending harm, will introduce distractions that pull you away from the purity of the vision God placed in your heart. In the spiritual realm, silence is not secrecy. It is protection. It is the sacred space where dreams take root without disruption, where purpose is strengthened before it is revealed. By holding on to the sanctity of our intentions, we allow divine forces to work freely without interference. This is not an act of fear, but an act of wisdom, understanding that everything has its time and everything unfolds in divine order. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to be silent and a time to speak. Ecclesiastes 3:7. Walking in silence does not mean you do not believe in your dream. It does not mean you distrust those around you. Rather, it is an expression of deep self-love and respect for the journey you're on. Keeping your plans close is an act of faith, an acknowledgement that divine timing is at work and that what is meant to be will manifest at the appointed time. Think of an artist working on a masterpiece. Before the final brushstrokes are complete, before the vision is fully formed, the artist does not seek validation. They do not invite an audience to critique an unfinished work. They labor in quiet devotion, refining each detail in private until the moment comes to unveil the creation. Your journey is no different. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. When you guard your heart, you create an environment where clarity flourishes. You allow yourself the freedom to adjust your path without interference, to move forward without the weight of differing opinions clouding your focus. Like a seed planted in fertile ground, your vision needs time to take root, to grow strong, to become resilient before it is exposed to the elements. This sacred silence is an invitation to trust, to surrender, and to allow divine grace to shield and empower your purpose. In the quiet, alignment happens. In stillness, growth takes place. In restraint, strength is cultivated. There is a profound, often misunderstood power in silence, a sacred force that preserves wisdom, guards divine revelations, and shields the chosen ones from unseen attacks. When God sets you apart for a greater purpose, you begin to realize that not everything should be spoken aloud, not every vision must be shared, and not every step requires validation. Silence, in its truest form, is not a passive state. It is a divine strategy, a weapon of wisdom, and a safeguard for your destiny. Consider the greatest miracles and breakthroughs recorded in the Bible. How often did they begin in secrecy, hidden from the noise of the world? Before Moses led the Israelites to freedom, he spent 40 years in the wilderness, far from the eyes of Pharaoh. Before David became king, he was anointed in private, away from his brothers who doubted him. Even Jesus, the Son of God, often withdrew to quiet places before performing his most powerful works. In Luke 5:16 it is written, "But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed." Why? Because the most significant movements of God often require stillness before they manifest. Silence is not stagnation. It is a space where faith is tested, discernment sharpens, and divine alignment takes place without interference. Many of God's chosen ones have faced situations where speaking too soon led to unnecessary battles, where revealing their plans too early invited resistance. Even Joseph, beloved by his father Jacob, learned this lesson painfully. When he shared his prophetic dreams with his brothers, instead of celebrating, they despised him and plotted against him. Genesis 37:5-11. Had Joseph remained silent, he might have avoided years of hardship, but even in his trials, God's plan prevailed. A friend of mine once experienced a similar test of faith. She felt a divine calling to step into a new chapter of her life, leaving behind an environment that no longer served her. At first, she sought affirmation from those closest to her, expecting their encouragement. Instead, she was met with doubt. Why would you leave stability? What if things don't work out? Their words, though spoken with concern, planted seeds of fear and hesitation in her heart. She delayed her decision, second-guessing the clarity she once had. Then she made a bold choice, to move in silence. She stopped seeking approval for a journey that God had revealed to her alone. Without making announcements, without justifying her steps, she walked away in faith. And in that stillness, something miraculous happened. Clarity replaced doubt. peace overshadowed fear, and strength rose within her. When she finally spoke of her transformation, she was no longer asking for validation. She was testifying to what had already been accomplished. This is the power of silence. When you guard your vision, you give God space to work. When you refrain from explaining yourself, you allow divine timing to unfold without interference. Have you ever shared a dream with someone only to feel their skepticism weaken your resolve? Have you ever revealed your next step only to find unexpected obstacles arising? Perhaps God is calling you to a season of silence, not as a punishment, but as a preparation for what is to come. Even in the world today, great visionaries and leaders have understood the importance of silence. Oprah Winfrey, before launching her own network, worked in quiet diligence, resisting the urge to announce plans prematurely. Elon Musk, despite his high-profile ventures, often develops groundbreaking technology in secrecy before unveiling it to the world. Why? Because speaking too soon can invite unnecessary opposition. How much more important is this for you as one of God's chosen ones? Not everyone is meant to understand your journey. Not everyone can see the vision God has placed in your heart. The Bible reminds us in Proverbs 17:28, "Even fools are thought wise if they keep silent, and discerning if they hold their tongues." Silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is a divine shield, ensuring that your path remains clear, protected from the voices of doubt and distraction. So before you speak of what is coming, ask yourself, is it time to share, or is it time to be still? God's greatest works often begin in the quiet. Will you trust Him enough to move in silence? The Bible echoes this wisdom time and time again. Consider the story of Moses before his return to Egypt, before he stood before Pharaoh, before he led the Israelites to freedom. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness. 40 years of silence. 40 years where no one saw what God was doing. But in that quiet season, he was being prepared, his character refined, his faith tested, his purpose solidified. And when the time came, when he finally stepped into his calling, there was no hesitation, no doubt. His mission was clear because it had been forged in the silence. Some of the most significant breakthroughs in life happen before the world even knows they exist. The chosen ones understand this. They know that silence is not weakness. It is spiritual strategy. It's the ability to protect what is sacred, to allow God to work without interference, to nurture a vision before it is exposed to the weight of human opinion. They do not rush to explain their process. They do not seek validation for something that has not yet fully taken form. Instead, they move with quiet confidence, trusting that what is meant to be will unfold in divine timing. In Luke 2:19, after Mary gave birth to Jesus, the Bible tells us that Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. Think about that for a moment. She did not run to announce what had happened. She did not seek confirmation from those around her. She held the miracle in her heart, allowing it to unfold in divine timing. There is a lesson here. Some revelations, some blessings, some breakthroughs are meant to be held in sacred silence until their appointed time. Picture an architect designing a great cathedral. Before the grand unveiling, before the first visitor enters its doors, years of quiet labor take place. The foundation is laid in secret. The structure is built without fanfare. Every detail is refined behind the scenes. And when the time comes, when the final stone is placed, the world does not question its purpose. It simply stands in awe of what has been created. Your journey is no different. When the chosen one chooses silence, they are not hiding. They are allowing the foundation to be built without unnecessary disturbance. They are protecting their energy from outside distractions, preserving their vision from premature exposure. They trust that their purpose will reveal itself, not through loud declarations, but through undeniable manifestation. Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." The world often pressures us to explain ourselves, to justify our journey, to seek approval before taking the next step. But the chosen ones understand that true freedom is found in surrendering to divine timing, in moving without the need for validation, in trusting that every step taken in faith is already being aligned by a force far greater than themselves. Some will not understand your silence. Some will question why you have chosen to move differently, but what is meant for you does not require their understanding. Your journey is not meant to be explained. It is meant to be lived. And when the time comes, when the season of quiet preparation is complete, your transformation will not need an announcement. It will be seen. The most powerful presence is often the one that speaks the least. The chosen ones do not inspire through loud proclamations or the need for validation. Instead, they move with quiet certainty, radiating a strength that is felt rather than explained. Their unwavering trust in their path becomes a beacon, not because they demand attention, but because their faith is unshakable and their alignment with divine purpose is undeniable. In this stillness, they find freedom, not the kind that comes from external approval, but the ultimate form of freedom, the peace that comes from knowing they are divinely guided, protected, and exactly where they need to be. It is easy to believe that walking alone means walking without support, but the truth is, no chosen one ever walks alone. The path may seem solitary, but they are constantly accompanied by unseen allies, angels, ancestors, and spiritual guides who walk beside them, clearing the way, whispering wisdom, and shielding them from forces that seek to pull them off course. Their presence is quiet but powerful, subtle yet unmistakable, orchestrating events, opening doors, and redirecting steps with divine precision. The Bible reminds us of this divine guardianship in Psalm 91:11. "For he will command his angels concerning you, to guard you in all your ways." This is a promise, not a suggestion, not a possibility, but a divine guarantee. Even when the chosen one cannot see the hands that protect them, even when the road feels uncertain, they are never truly alone. In moments of doubt, when the path feels unclear, these divine forces send signs. A synchronicity here, an intuitive nudge there, an unexpected blessing at just the right time. To the untrained eye, these may seem like coincidences. But to the chosen one, they are sacred confirmations, reassurances that they are being divinely led. The key is awareness. The more they cultivate stillness through prayer, meditation, and intentional quiet, the more clearly they hear these whispers of guidance. The chosen ones of today walk with the same invisible shield. Though their journey may not be through the physical wilderness, they navigate the unseen battles of doubt, fear, and spiritual resistance. And yet, even when they are weary, they are strengthened because they are being carried by forces that have been assigned to them since the beginning of time. Many people mistake divine silence for absence. But silence is not abandonment. It is the space where faith is tested and strengthened. Just as a seed grows in the darkness of the soil before it ever breaks the surface, so too does the chosen one evolve before their transformation is fully visible to the world. There is purpose in the quiet, purpose in the waiting, purpose in the unseen preparation. Consider a moment in your own life when things seemed uncertain, when answers were not immediate, yet somehow doors opened at just the right time. A person entered your life with exactly what you needed. An opportunity arose that seemed almost too perfectly timed to be accidental. That was not luck. That was divine orchestration. That was your unseen allies working behind the scenes, ensuring that you arrived exactly where you were meant to be. In Daniel 10:12-13, we are given an extraordinary glimpse into this unseen realm. Daniel had been praying and fasting for 21 days, seeking an answer from God. When the angel finally appeared to him, he said, "Do not be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them. But the prince of Persia resisted me for 21 days." This passage reveals something profound. Daniel's prayers were heard instantly, but there was a spiritual battle happening behind the scenes. The chosen one must understand, just because they do not see immediate results does not mean their prayers have gone unheard. There are battles being fought in the unseen realm, and their faith is what sustains them until the victory is revealed. The journey of the chosen one is one of trust, even when they do not understand, even when the road ahead is unclear. They are not called to control every detail. They are called to surrender to divine alignment. And when they do, when they let go of the need for immediate clarity and instead choose to walk in faith, they find that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. The chosen ones walk a path that is not merely physical, it is spiritual, guided by unseen forces that whisper wisdom, orchestrate protection, and align their steps with divine timing. To deepen their connection with these spiritual forces, they must cultivate moments of silence, stillness, and introspection. The world around them is filled with noise, expectations, distractions, opinions, and external pressures that pull attention away from the quiet presence of divine guidance. But in the stillness, they find clarity. In the silence, they hear the voice of God. In the quiet, they receive the wisdom that is meant only for them. It is no coincidence that the greatest spiritual revelations, the most profound moments of divine communication, often occur in solitude. Moses received the 10 Commandments alone on Mount Sinai. Jesus fasted and prayed in the wilderness for 40 days before stepping into his ministry. Elijah heard the voice of God not in the earthquake, not in the fire, but in a still small whisper. 1 Kings 19:12. Silence is not emptiness. It is the space where the sacred unfolds. It is within this quiet that the chosen one attunes themselves to the divine energies surrounding them, opening their spirit to receive direction, protection, and reassurance. One of the most powerful ways to strengthen this connection is through meditation, not as an empty practice, but as an intentional moment of stillness where the chosen one becomes receptive to the messages being sent their way. A simple ritual, such as lighting a candle, can also serve as an invitation for these energies to draw near. A white candle represents purity, peace, and divine illumination. The gentle flicker of the flame acts as a beacon, calling forth divine guidance while creating a spiritual barrier against negativity. Some may find this connection deepened through prayer, through deep mindful breathing, or through the simple act of sitting in nature, watching the wind move through the trees, listening to the rhythm of the waves, feeling the warmth of the sun on their skin. The Bible speaks of this sacred stillness in Psalm 46:10. "Be still and know that I am God." This verse reminds the chosen ones that power is not always found in action, but in surrender. When they stop striving, stop chasing, stop trying to force outcomes, they create the space for divine alignment to take over. Spiritual reverence does not require elaborate rituals or complex ceremonies. It is the purity of intention, the openness of heart, and the willingness to listen that invite divine presence. Reading a book that nourishes the soul, journaling thoughts that come in moments of deep reflection, or simply sitting in quiet contemplation can all serve as ways to cultivate and strengthen this sacred bond. Many chosen ones will notice that divine protection often manifests in unexpected ways. A stranger offers profound advice at just the right moment. A song on the radio speaks directly to something they were praying about. A sign appears when they needed confirmation. These are not coincidences. These are divine nudges, reminders that they are being watched over, that their journey is being carefully guided. There is an old story of a man caught in a flood, praying for God to save him. A neighbor came by in a truck and offered him a ride, but he declined, saying, "God will save me." The water rose higher. A boat passed by, offering rescue, but he refused again. "God will save me." Finally, a helicopter came, urging him to climb aboard, but he declined once more, holding on to his faith that God would intervene in a miraculous way. Eventually, the waters overtook him and he drowned. When he reached heaven, he asked God, "Why didn't you save me?" And God replied, "I sent you a truck, a boat, and a helicopter. What more were you waiting for?" This story serves as a reminder that divine assistance does not always come in the way we expect, but it always comes. The chosen ones must learn to recognize these moments, to see God's hand in everyday encounters, to trust that they are being guided not just in the grand miraculous events, but in the small, quiet interventions as well. By dedicating time and attention to their spiritual practices, they pave the way for insight, resilience, and a steady heart. They fortify their spirit against distractions, keeping their energy aligned with their highest purpose. They walk forward with confidence, knowing that they are never alone, never abandoned, never without the guidance they need. A chosen one never walks alone. Even when the journey feels solitary, at times they may feel as though they are walking through an unseen battlefield, surrounded by doubts, trials, and obstacles that test their spirit. But those who are attuned will recognize the presence of something greater, a divine force working behind the scenes, orchestrating events, protecting their steps, and ensuring that every challenge leads them closer to their higher calling. When the chosen one learns to be mindful of these divine interventions, they begin to understand that their path is guided. Their struggles are not in vain, and every difficulty they endure serves a purpose far greater than they can comprehend in the moment. This awareness becomes their strength, filling them with a deep sense of confidence and peace, empowering them to continue forward with certainty, knowing they are divinely protected every step of the way. The Bible reminds us of this unseen protection in Psalm 34, verse 7. "The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them." This verse reassures the chosen one that they are not only walking in their own strength, but are constantly surrounded by a sacred shield of divine guardianship. Their faith does not rest solely on what is visible, but on the unseen forces that stand guard over their destiny, ensuring that no weapon formed against them will prevail. But how does one deepen their connection to this divine protection? Through trust, awareness, and spiritual discipline. The more a chosen one acknowledges these signs, the intuitive nudges, the unexpected help at the right time, the moments of clarity amidst chaos, the more they build a foundation of faith that equips them to face challenges without fear. With every recognition of divine guidance, they strengthen their bond with their purpose, walking with unwavering belief that they are not only guided, but divinely shielded. There is a common struggle among those who are on a path of spiritual elevation. They ask themselves, are the trials meant to stop me, or are they tests to refine me? It is easy to misinterpret struggles as signs of misalignment, but what if they are actually indicators of growth? The Bible offers wisdom on this in Romans 5:3-4. We also glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. The trials faced by the chosen ones are not roadblocks, they are stepping stones. They are the fire that refines gold, shaping them into vessels strong enough to carry the purpose placed upon their lives. A tree doesn't grow strong in calm weather. It develops deep roots through storms, through winds that threaten to tear it down. The chosen one, too, is like a tree. Their strength is forged through the pressure of life's tempests. Every hardship they withstand deepens their resilience, anchoring them to the earth with wisdom, patience, and faith. Take, for example, Job. His story is one of the greatest testimonies of endurance in the face of unimaginable suffering. He lost his wealth, his health, his family, everything that once gave him stability. Yet through it all, he refused to turn away from God. His friends questioned his faith. His wife told him to give up, but Job stood firm. And in the end, not only was he restored, but he was blessed with twice as much as he had before. His story reminds the chosen ones that no storm is without purpose, and no trial is without reward. So when hardships arise, when external voices bring criticism, when the journey feels overwhelming, the chosen one does not panic. They do not react impulsively or allow discouragement to take root. Instead, they remain calm, knowing that each storm is a tool of refinement. They understand that even criticism, though painful, is often a disguised lesson, a chance to develop humility, patience, and wisdom. Proverbs 12:1 tells us, "Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid." Instead of resisting the pressure, they lean into it, learning from it, growing from it. They become like the tree that bends with the wind but does not break, that absorbs the rain and uses it to grow taller. Every storm they face is fuel for their transformation. But resilience is not only found in personal strength, it is also nurtured by the presence of the right people. Just as trees thrive when surrounded by others in a forest, the chosen one benefits from a community of genuine allies. Those who support their growth, who uplift them when they are weary, who remind them of their purpose when the path feels unclear. It is written in Ecclesiastes 4:9-10, "Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up." A chosen one may be strong on their own, but when surrounded by others who share their vision, they become unstoppable. Having the right people in their life is not just a blessing, it is a necessity. True allies do not only celebrate victories, they offer strength in times of struggle, wisdom in moments of doubt, and encouragement when the journey feels heavy. That is why the chosen ones must be intentional about who they allow into their inner circle. Energy is sacred, and surrounding themselves with those who uplift, inspire, and challenge them to grow ensures that their path remains clear and their purpose remains protected. Proverbs 27:17 teaches, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." The chosen one does not seek validation from the world, they seek alignment with their highest calling. They understand that resilience is not just about enduring hardships, it is about transforming them into wisdom, strength, and divine power. They do not crumble under pressure, they rise. They do not let trials define them, they let trials refine them. The journey of the chosen one is not just about external accomplishments or worldly recognition, it is a path of deep spiritual transformation, resilience, and alignment with divine purpose. This sacred journey requires nurturing, protection, and intentional self-care, as the soul needs as much nourishment as the body. The chosen one understands that true strength does not come from constant striving, but from the ability to remain centered, grounded, and spiritually aligned, no matter what storms arise. Self-care is not indulgence, it is a daily act of devotion, a commitment to maintaining inner peace, clarity, and resilience. Just as a warrior sharpens their sword before battle, the chosen one strengthens their spirit through mindful practices that restore their energy and deepen their connection with God. These practices may be as simple as nourishing the body with wholesome foods, engaging in reflective meditation, or filling the mind with wisdom that uplifts and strengthens the soul. The chosen one follows this wisdom, creating intentional space for silence, prayer, and spiritual renewal. They understand that self-care is not just about physical well-being, it is about maintaining a high spiritual vibration, safeguarding their energy from distractions, and staying fully aligned with their purpose. Every mindful practice, no matter how small, acts as a spiritual cleanse, filtering out lower energies that seek to disturb their peace. The Bible reminds us in Isaiah 40:31, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." This verse speaks to the power of pausing, realigning, and trusting in divine timing. True strength is not found in constant action, but in knowing when to rest in God's presence, allowing Him to renew the spirit and replenish the soul. For the chosen one, growth is not about sudden leaps, but about the quiet power of consistent, intentional steps, small daily acts, expressing gratitude upon waking, seeking wisdom from a mentor, engaging in deep reflection before making decisions, are the bricks that build an unshakable foundation of resilience and faith. Just as a mighty oak tree does not grow overnight, but slowly strengthens its roots over time, the chosen one's spiritual progress unfolds gradually, each small effort bringing them closer to divine elevation. In a world that glorifies speed, success, and external achievement, the chosen one finds their power in steadiness, patience, and faith. They understand that consistency and clarity of intention are the cornerstones of their journey. Every action, no matter how small, contributes to their transformation, bringing them ever closer to their divine mission. Spiritual practices such as prayer, meditation, fasting, and moments of deep introspection become their anchors in times of uncertainty. These rituals open the heart to divine messages, guidance, and inspiration that illuminate their way, providing clarity and strength, especially when the journey feels challenging. When the chosen one nurtures this connection daily, they no longer feel lost or overwhelmed, for they walk in the quiet confidence that they are always being led. With faithful allies, sacred self-care, and an unwavering belief in divine timing, the chosen one becomes unshakable. They recognize that their journey is a sacred unfolding, not something to be rushed or forced, but something to be trusted, nurtured, and honored. Each day they draw closer to their true essence, becoming a living vessel of divine love, wisdom, and light. The chosen one comes to understand that personal growth is not a final destination, but a sacred and continuous journey. It is not about reaching a singular moment of enlightenment, but rather about deepening one's connection with divine purpose with each passing day. There is no finish line to spiritual evolution, only endless opportunities to align more fully with the truth of who they were created to be. As they walk this path, the chosen one may pause and ask themselves, how can I honor this journey today? What intentions can I set to strengthen my faith and connection with the divine? These simple yet profound questions become the guiding compass for their daily existence, reminding them that each moment holds the power to bring them closer to their highest self. The beauty of spiritual growth lies not in grand gestures, but in the quiet consistency of small, intentional acts. Each prayer whispered in solitude, each decision made with integrity, each moment of stillness honored in the presence of God, these become the building blocks of a life aligned with divine purpose. The Bible reminds us in Galatians 6:9, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." This verse speaks to the importance of steady faithfulness, the patience to keep sowing seeds of wisdom, discipline, and devotion, even when immediate results are not visible. Just as a farmer does not see the fruits of his labor overnight, the chosen one understands that each mindful choice is planting something powerful for the future. As they proceed calmly and patiently, anchored in the wisdom they have gained, they come to realize that every step they take is divinely guided and protected. Even when they cannot see the full picture, even when uncertainty clouds their vision, they know that unseen forces are working in their favor, orchestrating their path with precision and grace. Throughout this journey, they have learned profound truths: the importance of keeping sacred dreams protected, the wisdom of silence, the necessity of surrounding themselves with the right people. These are not just lessons for today, but principles to build a life upon. And so the chosen one reflects, how can I integrate these lessons into my daily existence? What small but meaningful shifts can I make to protect my peace, to stay connected to my purpose, to remain in alignment despite the noise of the world? Each choice, no matter how subtle, creates ripples of transformation: the decision to wake up with gratitude, the act of choosing faith over fear, the discipline to step away from distractions and into moments of divine communion. These are the choices that shape a soul, that weave together a life of purpose, clarity, and spiritual elevation. The Bible reassures us in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Trusting in this promise allows the chosen one to release the need for control, to walk in faith, and to surrender fully to divine timing. As they cultivate patience and intention, they are preparing themselves for doors that have yet to open, for blessings that are already being aligned on their behalf. They understand that faith is not just believing in what is seen, but trusting in what is yet to come. And so they move forward, not with hesitation, but with confidence, knowing that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. The journey of the chosen one is not about rushing toward a final destination, but about embracing the process of becoming. Every lesson, every challenge, every moment of silence and reflection serves a purpose, guiding, strengthening, and refining the soul. As you continue on your path, walk with faith, move with intention, and trust in the unseen forces that are aligning everything for your highest good. Remember that your dreams are safe, your growth is unfolding, and your purpose is already written. May you remain steadfast, resilient, and deeply connected to the divine wisdom that is always within and around you. And when doubt creeps in, may you find peace in knowing that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Beloved child of God, pause for a moment and take a deep breath. Allow yourself to settle into this sacred space, knowing that wherever you are right now, it is holy ground. This moment has been set apart, not for the burdens of the world, not for distractions or anxieties, but for a deep and intimate communion with the divine. Let your spirit align with the will of God, opening yourself to His guidance, His wisdom, and the path He has prepared for you. This is not just another passing moment. It is an invitation to draw closer, to listen with your heart, and to receive the whispers of heaven. As we enter into this time of prayer, may every worry be lifted, every heavy burden be released, and every restless thought be calmed. May the presence of the Almighty fill this space, bringing renewal to your soul, restoration to your spirit, and revelation to your heart. If you feel led, close your eyes, lift your hands, and join me in this sacred prayer. Heavenly Father, Almighty God, I come before you today with an open heart, surrendering all that I am into your hands. You are my source, my protector, my guide. You have written my purpose before I took my first breath, and today I ask you to lead me deeper into your divine plan. Father, I thank you for the sacred journey that you have set before me. I acknowledge that my growth is not a destination, but a process of becoming more like you each day. Help me to walk in patience, knowing that every step I take is divinely ordered by your wisdom. Lord, your word says in Proverbs 3:5-6, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." Father, I surrender my need for control. I release the anxiety that comes from trying to figure out my future. Instead, I place my trust in you, knowing that you are already working behind the scenes to align every detail for my good. Lord, Teach me the power of silence. Let me guard the dreams you have placed in my heart, nurturing them in faith, away from doubt and distraction. Your word reminds me in Ecclesiastes 3:1, there is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. Help me to recognize when to speak and when to remain still, when to share and when to protect, when to step forward and when to wait on you. Father, I thank you for the divine protection that surrounds me. Your word in Psalm 91:11 says, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." Lord, I declare that I am never alone. Even when the path seems lonely, even when the journey is difficult, I know that your angels are encamped around me, guiding my steps and shielding me from harm. Lord, help me to cultivate the resilience of a tree planted by the waters. When storms arise, may I not be shaken. When trials come, may I stand firm in faith. Lord, let every challenge refine me. Let every setback strengthen me. Let every delay prepare me for the greater glory that you have in store. I seal this prayer in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen. As we conclude this message, remember that God's plans for you are sacred, and some revelations are meant to be kept within your heart until the appointed time. The prophetic warning we've discussed today reminds us of the importance of restraint. Sometimes speaking too soon can disrupt the work that God is doing in the background. Trust in His divine timing, for He knows what is best and when to reveal His plans. It's crucial to remain obedient and silent when He calls us to be, even if the world around us urges us to speak. In doing so, we are aligning ourselves with His will and positioning ourselves for greater blessings ahead. As God's chosen ones, you are called to walk by faith, trusting that He will reveal the next steps at the perfect moment. The journey may be uncertain at times, but God's protection and guidance will never fail you. Lean on Him and allow His wisdom to guide your every decision. Let His peace fill your heart as you walk through each day, knowing that He holds your future in His hands. If this message has touched you, I encourage you to show your support through super thanks. Your generosity is deeply appreciated, whether you choose to donate or simply continue being part of this community. I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. Your presence here, your comments, and your support mean the world to me. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts and how this message has impacted you. Sharing this video with others can help spread the word and offer encouragement to those who might be in need of this divine message. May God's blessings overflow in your life, and may He continue to guide your every step. Stay strong in your faith, trust in His timing, and know that you are protected, loved, and chosen. Thank you for being part of this journey with me. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. God bless you.